Hey everybody, I'm Gary Palmer Jr., you're you. Together we're minting coins, and there's a lot happening in the world, and we are here to talk about it with 184.eth, Novax.eth, and ADA.eth. Whoop, whoop. Hey everybody.
Whoop, whoop. Great to be here, Gary. Thanks for having us.
Hey, great. Thanks for being here. Minting coins. We're all minting coins. Let's see here. The intro is, I'm Gary Palmer Jr. and you're you. And this is Minting Coins. Just rocking out about Web3, learning what's happening. NFTs live on Genie, which is owned by Uniswap. So OpenSea purchased Gem. A lot of people use Gem.xyz. And Gem.xyz is a huge competitor in Genie, which is purchased by Uniswap. Relaunched today. We're going to be going over that. In addition to looking at some practical advice, some good advice coming from Tim Draper out of Miami Web3. And so we're going to go over that as well. And we're going to be doing it today during this fine day of all days, the Whiskey Wednesday, with a whiskey in hand. I don't know about everybody else got a whiskey, a wine, or something, but I'm seeing whiskeys all around, and I'm seeing a really good bottle over there. Oh, your baby. Yeah. Well, let's go around the room, do some introductions. Ada, what is your name, and what do you do?
Sure. Ada.eth, Unfolded Life on Twitter and Instagram. I would say, early Web3 adopter, been here since 2016. I create NFTs, talk a lot of shit, and try to onboard as many people into Web3 as possible. I am also working on Web3 domains. If you are a writer or if you're wanting to learn about Web3, web3domains.com. All the latest information straight from the people who are on the forefront of Web3 revolution.
That sounds like a spectacular website. I'll have to check out web3domains.com myself. Novax, hey, welcome to the show. How's it going with you? Who are you? What do you do?
Hey, well, it's really good to be here, Gary. And I'm Novax, N0VAX, N0VAX NFT on Twitter. It's my @ hit me up there. My DMs are open. I am a blockchain enthusiast. I do a lot of stuff. I'm a musician. I do some motion graphics and video editing. That's what brought me into crypto, was doing some video editing, getting censored. We could talk about that in the private show. And I want to get into it with you guys. I'm excited to be here, Gary, and looking forward to the chat.
What kind of music you making where you're getting your music censored? Oh my. Maybe the private members only show. And 184. Hey, 184. Who are you? What's up?
Hi everybody. I'm 184.eth, and I'm going to borrow a little bit. I'm a crypto enthusiast as well. I like Web3. I like ENS, and I do that when I'm not watching the World Cup and Australia making it into the round of 16.
Congrats. Maybe at some point they'll face off against USA. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we're up against Argentina next, and I think USA is Netherlands. So if we both win, then we're up against each other, and then it's a real fight.
Yeah, then hopefully we're still friends after that. Yeah, so you're Web3 enthusiast. You like what else? What do you say? You like your Web3 enthusiast and what?
Web3, decentralization, ENS is my game. It has been since 2017, and a little bit of trading, investing, all that sort of stuff. But I'm here for ENS.
So you're a Web3 enthusiast. You like ENS, DeFi, and long walks in the park.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Cool. Well, everyone else, hey, I don't know who you are watching the show, but I would love it if you said hello in the comments, like this video, and consider subscribing. Subscribe to mintingcoins.com. Check us out at mintingcoins, youtube.com/mintingcoins, but also visit us at mintingcoins.com. Become a member. Get access to the members-only content, the members-only videos, the members-only forum. and help support us, support you, and all the cool stuff that's happening in Web3, because there's a lot happening in the space. But I don't know, getting off to it. I mean, 184, do you have a drink port or no?
No, I'm still on my spot. I'm still on my sparkling water, and I'm a little bit of an imposter, but we'll see. I think I'll pull out the whiskey later.
Well, cheers to Ada, and cheers to everybody. Cheers to the water.
Yeah, cheers to Whiskey Wednesday.
Yeah, we're also, Thread Girls might be here, so maybe she's hitting up the liquor store, and then she's gonna pop in. But yeah, I had a great chat with her today in the domain plug room. I was at that speaking, and yeah, those type of rooms are interesting when when I'm getting questions at me about minting coins or about Web3 domains, and they're really good questions, and they force reflection about what we're doing and why we're here. So it was a good room. It was like she asked really good questions. I know Otto was there, and 184, I saw you peeking in as well.
So maybe I can rehash that question. So one of the questions that was given was along the lines of, what's your vision for minting coins? And so maybe I'll ask that again. What is your vision, and how are you looking to achieve that?
The vision is, man, what is the vision? The vision of minting coins has always been to help people understand technology, to drive visibility and awareness, but also for people to drive action. The vision is to create a place where people can get access to raw information, like really information that is not just critical to the core of Web3, to the core of blockchain, to the core of decentralization, but it includes the nuance, the in-between that most people gloss over, right? Because there's usually a couple different elephants in the room that people don't want to talk about because it's uncomfortable. And so, we want to, at Minting Coins, just give people more access to empower them, but then also so they can take that action, right? And and what's come from Web3 domains is leveraging the Minting Coins platform to get more people on the show, to increase their profiles, right? So I guess like the vision is to create not really sort of like a community center, sort of like a hub where we can hang out and we can talk and we can conversate, and anybody can jump in and be part of that conversation. And if somebody's building or contributing, then their voice can be heard too. I mean, it's so much more than that, but at the very basis, it's about disseminating that information, getting people to take action, and then getting people to come back to, stay part of the community.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what I've heard you say before is, it is this space for active participation. So there's things to educate people about, but there's also being able to come in here, share that information, learn a little bit more. And this is a new medium for active participation. This is a medium for basically getting to know your community. It's been non-visual for quite some time, and coming on here, you don't need to show your face, but there are ways that you can engage, and this is one of them. Pulling up other screenshots and things and doing run-throughs of projects.
Yeah, deep diving into like hands, like we can just chit like when Thread Girl asked the different types of formats. Yeah, like with this community space that we have at Minting Coins, we can chit chat and we can talk and we can really get into it together, like deep dive into things and have the full immersive experience. But then we can also, deep dive into actual websites, into actual projects or dApps, you know, almost like a working session, like a working / learning / educational session where we just do it all at the same time and bring people in on the journey. And yeah, we could have deeper interviews, you know, depending on who wants to come on the show. So it's a little bit of everything. But then, you know, we have the brand, you know, like really well with minting coins, and we have like the website, and, you know, the website is already like a great hub. And then so it's just about doing the work and making the website an even better hub. So we can take everything that we learned from here and in life and, you know, centralize it, if you will, you know, for our community.
Awesome.
Yeah. But, you know, we're just, I suppose, keeping our head down and doing the work and getting it done. And in our first story, that's what we're getting from some advice from venture capitalist Tim Draper. I think a lot of people know who Tim Draper is. Tim Draper is a venture capitalist, billionaire, invested into a lot of things across Web3. ENS related, he is investor into Unstoppable Domains. But, you know, I'm sure he has an open mind and really smart person, speaking at Web3 Miami. But he's also, I wouldn't say he's a Bitcoin maximalist, but he's a major believer in Bitcoin. And he's telling everyone in Web3 to keep your head down and to keep working, just to, you know, keep working. He's super optimistic, according to this article in the reports. Speaking, it was today at the conference in Miami, Web3 Miami. And he's just saying, you know, keep your head down, keep working, being optimistic. He's predicting a looming recession. A lot of people are predicting this recession. And, you know, the word on the street is that the recession hasn't even really hit yet. And the recession, you know, might start after December and January, and it can go for an unknown period of time. A lot of higher end business folks seem to be, you know, really preparing, like they're getting the word on the street, like the recession's coming, right? And so Tim Draper is one of those people. He knows it's coming, that, you know, ongoing turmoil, prediction of the recession, but he's still very, very optimistic. And he's quoted here as saying, we're going through a fundamental change. And he's sort of warning people, there's going to be a lot of friction. Friction's not good. And at the conference, he's just saying, like, you know, like we're saying, keep your head down, keep working, because we're going through fundamental change. A lot of things are going to get rough. You know, there's going to be turbulence in, you know, technology and culture and society and capital. But, you know, basically we're going to get through it. He's praising countries like Switzerland and Malta, because Switzerland and Malta have embraced Web3. They've embraced decentralization. And it's kind of actually interesting because he's not saying good things about China. He's saying China has taken a turn back into the dark ages. Those are rather strong words, if you ask me. He says, he's quoted here about China, it's sort of a critical time in the world. And you see the weak leaders trying to control everybody. And you see the strong leaders setting people free and trusting people. And he's speaking about the Chinese president. He's speaking about any president or any government where they're weak because they're trying to control everybody, versus the strong governments, which are setting people free. And so from a venture capitalist point of view, he's following the Ballas nation state. He's voting with his money. He's voting with technology. He wants to see freedom. He wants to see trust. And I bet he's going to push things in that direction, you know? And I mean, obviously this conference is in Florida. So, you know, when he says all the best entrepreneurs are leaving China and coming here to Florida, you know, I'm sure everyone in Florida is loving to hear that, because they know that Florida is like a huge capital of the world. And then last year, he says that while he thought that he thinks that there's definitely a recession on the horizon, he said that could be a silver lining, noting that the top 30 of the top 31 most valuable companies in the world have all been formed in the aftermath of a bear market. because when things are bad, there's a flight to quality, he said, predicting that Bitcoin is going to emerge as a winner among centralized cryptocurrencies, as an example of the FTX, FTT token stuff. But like I said before, he is kind of like, money-wise, a Bitcoin maximalist. He bought a lot of Ross Ulbricht's coins from Silk Road, purchased other coins from the government in auctions, has invested in a lot of Bitcoin. But he is invested into Web3 companies, lots of Ethereum companies. And, while there's definitely concern to think that there's going to be a lot of friction and there's going to be a recession, this is definitely encouraging that what he sees is a flight to quality. And what he sees are places around the world that are trusting people and setting them free as being, the winners of this new future. So, I mean, it's just, for me, this is reinforcing at a very high level from the billionaire venture capital level, and the advice that he's giving the builders. It's reinforcing to me that quality is where it's at, right? That focusing on real projects that have real utility, focusing on projects that have real decentralization, focusing like Switzerland and Malta, and then focusing on focusing on decentralization. Like, what does decentralization do? Centralization helps set people free. It helps trust people, or make everything trustless. And so I think this is just extremely positive for Web3 and decentralization, but people just got to be prepared. So what do you guys think? Are you guys familiar with Tim Draper, or what do you think about the looming recession? Or what do you think about, countries that are freeing people versus countries that are, not trusting people?
I like the keep your head down, keep building advice. I stopped looking at, daily charts for ETH and Bitcoin a while ago. I only tune in every so often. I'm not swing trading them at the moment, so it's no reason really for me specifically to do it. I find I have much greater peace. The longer you've been in the market, the more you've seen the 2, 3, 4, 5x of your personal entries and exits, and seen it positive and negative. It just doesn't, rock your boat quite as hard. But I do think that this kind of thing is great encouragement. When you see that the VIN caps are looking for ways to bolster and strengthen and secure up some of the digital real estate that's, very in an early seed phase right now, it can be the sort of thing that helps, drive us through a bear market and have something incredible to show for on the other side. So I'm kind of optimistic,
My gut tells me, much like others, my gut tells me that the worst is not over, and there is a lot more pain to happen. And part of me always looks at, it's the price of things. It's the price of Bitcoin, it's the price of Ethereum, it's the price of the stock market, it's your goods at stores. That's how it's going to get worse. But I think it's in the area that I don't know that we're going to feel the pinch. We talk about people losing their jobs, but there's something unnerving to me where I say there's something I haven't experienced in my lifetime. I've seen the price go down. I've done the 2017 drop. I've done this drop. I've seen that happen, and it's painful and it hurts, but it just doesn't feel like we've had that yet. And this to me feels like it's going to be more than what past crypto bull cycles have been. So I don't know what that is, and I don't have a strong opinion about any of this. I just know that I think I'm going to be shocked, and I think I'll be shocked in 2023. Something will happen inside of my family, my network, and I'll go, yeah, I wasn't expecting that. What you don't know, and I'll come out of it stronger, I hope. But I'm preparing for that, and I'm slightly concerned. So yes, I love the advice, and I'm trying to stick to that because it creates sanity. When you have a mission and a vision, when you have a forward-looking focus, you don't get caught up in all the noise. But I'm not comfortable. I'll say that. I'm not comfortable, and maybe that's a good way to be prepared.
When I saw Bitcoin was under 17,000, I was shocked, and it had been there for weeks. I looked at the chart back, and I was like, oh, okay, like it's been floating around there for a little while. So it's just interesting how sometimes, depending on your entry and what your position is, you know, the market fluctuations have a totally different meaning and effect on you.
Yeah, super crazy with the markets driving people nuts. And one of my strategies is kind of just to almost take like a worst case scenario, and I just take the $69,420 Bitcoin, right? That all-time high, and then I multiply that times 85%, right? 85% drop. And then what's left is $11,000. So I've been in the camp for a long time in terms of Bitcoin price, that Bitcoin can go down, to like 10K. But, forget the price. You know what I mean? It's like there could be something way worse than the price. There could be like an unknown black swan. There could be like a war situation. There could be a market crash situation. There could be another health situation like we just had. There could be something unknown. I'm going to say something super crazy, and we could talk about it in the after show. But there could be an attack on this world from an unknown entity, like a UAP. And I mean, in terms of like imagining the most ludicrous thing and then working backwards this way, in the back of my head, I'm not going to be shocked because I'm keeping my head down. I'm focusing. I know it's going to get really bad. I see everybody's happy online. I see everyone's thinking, oh, we're in a bear market. This is the bottom. We're going to go back up. And it just makes me feel like, oh my goodness, we are not even halfway through this yet. And so before we get to Thread Girl, what we're talking about is Tim Draper in Miami Web3. And he's striking an optimistic tone. He's predicting a looming recession on the horizon. He's telling people to keep your head down and keep working. Because there's countries like Switzerland and Malta that are embracing Web3 and decentralization. China's going to the dark ages. Good leaders. It's a critical time because weak leaders are trying to control everyone. Strong leaders are setting people free and trusting people. People moving to Florida because, the best entrepreneurs are leaving China and going to Florida for freedom. Recession on the horizon, when things are bad, there's a flight to quality. So basically it's this tone that, I guess what strikes me about his talk is that not only is there a tone that things are going to get bad because he's talking, recession, but he's also talking about friction, right? He's saying that there's going to be a lot of friction. But then he's talking about it being a critical time for the world, right? So he's mixing like almost like political issues of freedom with issues of the economy, but the end message is, in between the lines, he's saying you don't want to live somewhere where you have less freedom. But he's also saying that if you just work and, focus on building and you're building quality, then that's going to push you right in the place that you want to be. Because after all the dust settles and the smoke settles, you're going to be on the side of quality, and you would have built something through after everything is set on fire. But hey, Thread Girl, what's up? I see you have your drink. Cheers to you.
Hello everyone. Cheers. Good to see you today, Gary. We were on the show together earlier. Loved that. Thank you for
Yeah, we talked about it.
yeah. Thank you for real. It was a great one. And so about what you guys were talking about. Um, First of all, okay, here comes me. So, first of all, there is no place on earth, no country, nowhere that you have freedom. You have places where you have a more illusion of freedom, but anywhere you go in the world, in my opinion, freedom is nada, zero, zero, صفر, whatever you call it, okay? But you have like more illusion of freedom or whatever. But yeah, man, and we were talking about it yesterday, right? Web3, politics, economy, the word economy, it's all one and the same, and it's all connected together into this whole spider web. And yeah, there is definitely a worldwide recession happening. And anyone who believes we reached the bottom in crypto, man, you dumb as fuck. Because the actual, in my opinion, that the actual um, recession and the contra, how do we say this, like when there's an earthquake, after the earthquake comes, how do you guys call it, aftermath.
Aftermath.
Aftershocks. The
Yeah,
aftershocks.
Well,
yeah, and the
aftermath or
recession.
aftershock?
Aftershocks.
Yeah, aftershock. So the recession is the earthquake, but the leaders of the world are protecting you from it, right? Because they want you to stay silent, and we haven't seen the aftermath or the aftershock of it yet. But like I watch, I try to keep up with the world politics, and there is a recession winter coming, and it's getting closer and closer, and it's knocking on our doors, and we haven't seen like had the start of it even. That's in my opinion.
Yeah, I
Some places are potentially safer than others, though, right? I mean, I hear you that you're. I mean, come on, North Korea. I mean, Florida might be a little bit better than North Korea.
I mean, can I be the devil's advocate here? Have you been to North Korea? You haven't been. Well, okay. We're seeing all the media propaganda about North Korea. I don't necessarily believe half of it because I haven't been there. I don't know anyone who've experienced it. I don't know anyone who's
Virgil
like
Griffith was there.
what?
Virgil Griffith was there.
Who's that?
He's a ENS dev who's now in jail.
Oh, well, bro, like, do you think
So
this is
he
a
doesn't
North
have freedom.
Korea? Yeah, do you think this is a North Korea thing or a world thing where literally like Tornado Cash coder is in jail as well? Okay, is fucking Holland or wherever he was from, like, are we gonna say, oh, this is like the European Kim Jong-un now? No, this is politics. They're trying to ban decentralization, but it's the same, man. I see zero difference between fucking North Korea or whatever. To be honest, man.
I just got to push back a little bit because I feel like at the core of it, I agree with you that totalitarianism is everywhere, and it's always, power is always going to want to take more power, right? And so I at the core of it, like I could agree, but I just think like we have friends who are in China. Like you have friends who are in China. I have friends who are in China, and they can't communicate with us fully because if they communicate with us fully and say things that are inappropriate, they have to worry about someone going to their house and kicking their ass. And in America, if you say things that are too far on the spectrum, then maybe you got to worry about someone coming to your house in America and kicking your ass. But if you're just generally speaking, talking shit about the government, you know what I mean? And if you're just generally speaking, you know, talking shit about the president, you know, not death threats or anything, but just like, you know, talking shit. He's a shitty president. He's bad. I don't like how things, you know, just whatever you want to say. In China, that can lower your credit score, you know, and you can not buy food. There's people in China, they lose their credit. They have I hear you. This can come to America. Like, we're all predicting this social credit score is coming to America. This is a good after show talk. We could talk it deeper in the after show. But right now in China, if you have if you have a QR code, if your QR code turns red or orange or whatever, you're locked out of your house, and then you're living on the street. And so, like, we don't have that yet, right? Where we're traveling to work and we have to scan the QR code, and if the QR code is wrong, then we can't take the bus, right? And so I agree that totalitarianism is everywhere, but I mean, some parts of the pool are warm and some parts of the pool are cold, you know?
I think it in some ways it's a matter of perspective as to like what we as individuals think of as freedom. Because I was thinking about it when you guys were saying, and somebody who has grown up in a country that had closed borders, like nothing got in and nothing got out. There were other, and you're 100% right. Like, you did not talk shit about the government, and if you were a comedian, like, the way that your words got around was on cassette tapes that were being like distributed through the underground, because you couldn't make jokes about anybody in government. Otherwise, you were absolutely sent to jail and forgotten and thrown away the key. But I think that if we put it in a context of freedom, and it's true, like I didn't know any different, so you don't know any different. But now that I was able to live in both of those countries, I look back and I have very fond memories of living in that country, because there were other values that were more prevalent, like value of family and community and togetherness. And so I have really, really good memories of, you know, being part of communities and having that close bonds with family, which, you know, in some ways, like, you know, it really depends like how we define freedom. And for some people, freedom might be that you can say, you know, whatever you want to say, and you can do whatever you want to do online. But then ultimately, we have people in America who live in these huge cities and are lonely. I mean, I lived in New York City for 10 years, and everybody's lonely in New York City, and you're never, ever alone. Like, you're always with so many people. And even in your apartment, like, it's so rare that you don't live with other people. And you know, those places have the most lonely people that there are. So I do think that it is a matter of perspective. And I know Gary and I had a conversation about, you know, if we were to move like other better states or even other better countries, and kind of like, you know, where we would go to have more freedom. And you know, and it's very interesting. And my big thing always was, what has more freedom right now? Is this going to be true in 2 or 3 years? Because we see things are changing. And, you know, I think that what we're particularly seeing with cryptocurrency is that it is a huge threat to all of the established systems. And so, like I always say, you know, the technology is going to get adopted 100%, because it is a revolutionary technology, and there's no way that it's not going, it has to be a part of our evolutionary technological curve. Like, it just has to. But then, is it going to go fully transparent, decentralized, or is there going to be, you know, something else there? And that's, you know, and that's I think what, you know, Draper is talking about, that there's going to be a lot of friction, because the world governments aren't going to just release their hold. And so that's where we're going to see it. And I think what was so very different from the last time we went into bear market and now is that right now it is coupled with recession. And that was not true last time. Like last time, the crypto just kind of went in the bear market and everybody's like, oh, like it's dying, like crypto's dead. But I think right now there's something a lot bigger happening because we're having this worldwide recession. And so it is very much different. I think we are going to experience what we potentially haven't experienced for many of us in our lifetimes.
Ada, I want to comment on two things you said. First of all, when you were talking about a country that has like family values, but like you couldn't talk about anything, felt like hitting the Middle East, by the way. But yeah, you hit the nail on the head when you said it depends on what kind of freedom you want, right? Because there are countries where you have everything accessible, right? In matters of safety or job security or whatever, but you cannot by any means talk anything politics. And if someone is comfortable with that, then that would be like a perfect country for them to live in. But then there are other countries who, uh, like, you can talk about anything you want, but you don't have the economic stability and yeah, like you can't have it all. Um, maybe I'm a dreamer. I need to like have accessibility
You're not the
for
only one.
yeah, not the only one. I got a family of Gary Palmer 184 and Novaks. Um, but yeah, yeah, it depends what kind of freedom you're seeking. But at the end of the day, whatever freedom we're seeking the illusion of it, or at least that's what I think. And like what whatever countries you live in, the rulers of that country want to give you. But is that like fair, man? Like I don't know, bro. I don't know.
So before moving on, I kind of want to round this out and give my interpretation of keep your heads down. Sorry, keep your heads down, keep working. So we talk about building all the time, and a lot of the times when I think about building, I've got to make sense of what that means. And I think there's another angle to look at this. So if we're talking about the challenges that exist in countries, in freedoms, and all sorts of stuff, it's not always feasible to build, but it is feasible to be up to something. And that being up to something is, maybe you're the best friend you can be. Maybe you're the best parent you can be. Maybe you're the best worker you can be, whatever it is. Like you've got to be up to something bigger than what it is to sit back and be consumed by what could be a looming scary recession. So Tim Draper's advice was to a room full of people that were builders, and I'm not a builder all the time. So I've got to make sense of that, and I've got to have my little freedom. And that little freedom is to say, I just need to be up to something bigger than what it is on my worst day. So I wanted to add that last little piece.
In the comments section, we have Moonshine Fuel. They say that the North Pole is trending. The only problem with the North Pole, there's two problems with the North Pole. We can talk about it more in the street. First, there's not a lot of land in the North Pole because there's a lot of ice, not a lot of land. And there's also a big hole at the North Pole that you would fall in. So there's that too. But yeah, with that being said, let's move on to the next topic, eh? So Uniswap, you guys know Uniswap, right? It's the place where we all use in DeFi. We use Uniswap to swap coins, buy and swap coins. Yeah, they purchased Genie, and they just announced today that they basically relaunched the NFT aggregator Genie, which is really, I don't even think it's called Genie anymore. I think it's just Uniswap. So they changed the name, right? So
Airdrop.
Say again.
There's an airdrop. If you use Genie after April, before April, I mean, sorry, you'd qualify for an airdrop.
Yes, you do. That's this article. Yeah, so here's the announcement. NFTs are officially live on Uniswap. You can trade all your favorite tokens and NFTs now all in one place, your ERC20s and your ERC721s. So starting today, you can trade NFTs across major marketplaces, find listings, better prices. To celebrate, they are, as ThreadGirl says, airdropping 5 million USD to historical Genie users and offering gas rebates for the first 22,000 NFT users. More on that below. But they're going to continue to be an open source, trustless, self-custodian, staying true to the values of decentralization. And yeah, and we can take a look at it over here. Yeah, the Genie airdrop. So there's a $300 tier for anybody that's made at least one transaction before the snapshot, and then there's a $1,000 tier available to the wallets, Genie Genesis NFT snapshot, users eligible per unique address. Yeah, so I'm not gonna get into all the little details here. You guys can check this out. But yeah, so you might have $300 to $1,000. And this is what it looks like. Right now it's app.uniswap.org/#NFTs. But I saw some information that said this is actually not complete, because how do we search here? We search ENS. Yeah. Yep. When we search ENS, so ENS is here. That's good news. And if I go to the filter and I look at the marketplaces, what do you guys notice?
We don't have the ENS marketplaces.
ENS.vision's not there. Domain plug's not there. So this is not complete. So I think some people, of course, already said on Twitter, hey guys, you're missing ENS Vision. And I'm sure someone has said, hey, you're missing domain plug. But yeah, so little details. They just launched today. They didn't get all the details. What are you gonna do? Yeah, so what do you guys think about? So I guess two things I want to ask you about. One, what do you think about Gem having competition with Uniswap? And then second, how do you think about, two of the largest players in the space now being the two largest aggregators, right? Because OpenSea purchased Gem and Uniswap purchased Genie. And so OpenSea is just a bigger OpenSea, and Uniswap is now a bigger Uniswap. But at least there's competition, right? We have more than one aggregator, and so that's a bright side.
Well, obviously, like all competition is great for the space in general because it pushes them to work more. And to be honest, fuck OpenSea and Genie. Yeah, Uniswap and Jam, because maybe they'll do a better job. Maybe, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I love that news.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, But if I remember correctly, you dislike OpenSea a little bit.
Dislike is an underrated statement, Gary. I fucking hate OpenSea. It's centralized as shit, and they banned me and all my wallets and all my accounts and banned all my friends. They ban all Arab people. Okay, so I make it sound sometimes like, yeah, you're racist banning Arab people. They're banning the countries that are sanctioned by the US, basically. And like having OpenSea 6 months ago, it was like the whole thing was banned from my country. I used to need to get on VPN to use it, but then they went the extra mile and did the effort of banning every wallet that is from this region. So, man, and I'm a trader, right? This affected my trading a lot. Obviously, all the volume is on OpenSea, but never mind me. Like there are artists from the Middle East whose collections got dropped and stuff like that. You know, what's the Genie airdrop? Do not click links or scams.
Oh yeah, so for what was that sound? So it was a Novax. So for anybody that was listening to the airdrop conversation about the Uniswap-Genie airdrop, be very careful about scams out there. There's going to be scams, and there's going to be a lot of people trying to steal your money and get into your wallet and pretending to be the Genie airdrop and give you misinformation. So do be mindful of scams, because every airdrop that brings.
Totally. And man, do the times change. Like, I don't know, a couple of months ago, if an airdrop was less than four figures, we would FUD the shit out of them on Twitter. And now we're getting $300. And yay, free $300. I have 300. Oh, also, I didn't get the airdrop because I didn't use Genie. Man, I even missed
And it was USDC. Right? Did I read it right? It was USD. They didn't even give you the airdrop in like a real money. It's not even real money. It's fake money. They gave us like coupon money. It's like so rude or mean.
And we're happy about it. 8 months ago, it had to be 5 figures for us to be happy about it. Like if an airdrop was less than 10K, what the fuck is this shit?
I know, but not only was it an airdrop less than 10K, less than 1K, less than $500, but they gave you like funny money. They gave you Chuck E. Cheese tokens. Like, what the hell is USDC? You know what I mean? It's like the shit coin. It's with an unlimited supply, depreciates 2 to 10% a year. Like the US government has like a huge bag. China has a huge bag. Major governments are dumping on you all the time. I mean, USDC is like the worst. Just give me FTX token or something.
I hear that if you unwrap USDC, it even has less utility. Like you can't use it in quick and easy ways. It's ridiculous.
And they have admin keys.
They do. I want to answer this your question of what do I think. So I look at this from two different angles. The first angle is I think it's great. It's great for Uniswap and it's great for me as a user, and I'm okay with that. I like that they have this service, and I'm a big fan of Uniswap. The second side is, to your question, now there are two giants, and that is slightly concerning. But the lens and how I resolve that that's okay right now is that the market does not have enough participants for 3 giants or 4 giants or 5 giants. And in recessions, what tends to occur is there are acquisitions, lots and lots of acquisitions. That's where the deals are made, and that's also where the bloat goes out. So companies acquire during recessions, and that's sometimes how they increase their balance sheet. So these are all good strategies for a business. These are all good moments during a recession. And when we have enough market participants, I think someone else will come in. A third or fourth player will come in. So it's scary right now that it's more centralized as we're reliant on these two behemoths. But I think that's a temporary problem with some legitimate concerns. The other side is, well, most of my stuff are ENS names. And as you mentioned before, we have ENS Vision and we have Domain Plug. So I'm sitting pretty.
184, I think you're so spot on. I was thinking exactly the same thing, is that, we're going through consolidation. It's very difficult for all the small companies to stay afloat right now. And B, I think, and we have seen it sort of like over and over and over and over again, is that there is this drive from a lot of companies to acquire as many small companies as possible, because that just gives you a bigger market share. And all of a sudden, so right now we have all the smaller companies. So like you said, like we go to Domain Plug, we have the level of, freedom and the decentralization that we have. Eventually those smaller companies get absorbed, either because they can't survive or because laws are passed to make sure that they fail. Because if you have few companies on top, then what happens? They make the rules and there's nowhere else to go. So basically you are under their rules and jurisdiction. And that's where it makes it really, really scary, because I think that most of us who are here in these early days are here for decentralization, because in many ways it is a solution to what has been broken in the world, in the political system, in big companies acquiring all the small businesses. I mean, we have seen it over and over and over again within our own communities, right? I mean, pandemic was like a great example to shut down tons of small businesses because they just simply didn't have the capital to survive, and all the giants just stay afloat. And so all of a sudden our choices, right, like the conscious choices that we want to make to give to the smaller companies, kind of get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, because it's like, instead of having 20 mom and pop owned restaurants that you want to support, you have like 20 Wendy's. And it's like, I'm going to go to Wendy or I'm not going to go out, right? Like those choices get smaller. And that's always a really, really big concern, right? Because the easiest way to kill something revolutionary is just to, consume all the places that are serving that industry. And then you change the laws and it makes it really, really difficult. So I'm with you. I'm actually very, very concerned when I see that, because even though we have a lot of choices, or we have choices right now, I wouldn't say a lot, for how long, right? Like how much longer are we going to have those choices before everything that's left is basically, centralized?
You could always have a new builder then come on the scenes, but so I think you got to watch that protocol level, right? Like, is there something that can happen where a new player is now gate kept from joining into the space? And the gatekeeping, it can happen at a protocol level, but perhaps there's other levels too, like a regulatory level or something, right? Thread Girl, you're gonna say?
Yeah. So I kind of disagree with you guys, because when you're trading NFTs, right, and that's what we're doing, literally trading. You don't care if it's a mom and pop's restaurant or it's a fucking huge chain. You want where there is the most volume, like it or not. Like, I try to protest as hard
That's
as
not. Wait. What are we talking about? NFTs?
yeah, yeah.
I don't want the most volume. I want the cheapest
Well,
price.
you need both. You need
No
both, because if you're day trading, you need the most volume.
NFTs.
Because if yeah.
I mean, okay, you mean buying and selling?
Yeah. Trading, buying and
I
selling.
get that's not me. I'm not a trader. So I mean, not my. I buy and then I forget about it. But yeah, other people I guess are trading. Yeah.
You're a collector, Gary. You're a collector, but that's 1% maybe of the population that are
But
into
that has
NFTs.
more to do with the project, doesn't it? Because like
Yeah,
people
but
could be selling it anywhere.
Yeah, but any project I can mint it right now and flip it for fucking $15 maybe in 15 minutes, right? And then it's gonna dump to zero. Okay, if I make this 10 times a day, fuck, I just made $100, which is more than the basic salary of anyone in Lebanon, to be honest. But I can't do that if there isn't any volume. I need to do this on a marketplace that has the most volume. I don't care if it's uh, like like the smallest marketplaces, the moms and pops, whatever
So
market.
that's why you love OpenSea, because OpenSea has the most volume.
Yeah, yeah, that's why OpenSea has the most volume, but it's shitty as shit, and that's why like I'm always tweeting about it and telling people about it. Like, man, it's centralized as fuck. But I feel eventually, man, we're meeting a lot of people in the space, right? And a lot of like-minded people who value decentralization better than anything. And a lot of those people are huge players in the game who have deep pockets, who want to build for the community. And like I'm not the most optimistic person, but I'm seeing this, right? I'm seeing people who have this hunger for decentralization and they want to build such things. And I feel that they will eventually. We're still too early into the whole Web3 game. And when they do, people organically are gonna flock toward those because now you can't preach about decentralization and tell me how much you like Web3 and you have a marketplace that is actually decentralized but you're not using it. Okay, you're now a hypocrite or a liar to say the least. So people are naturally gonna flock towards that, and I believe that's coming, but like it's a bit soon. Novak, sorry, go ahead.
This is a great, if you're looking for some neuroplasticity and you're just trying to exercise your mind, like just trying to get this stuff right is a great exercise with the hands, if anyone's just listening only. So I really appreciate the conversation and the thoughtfulness. Obviously, I think of myself sometimes as a philosopher. Actually, my middle name is after a philosopher. And so always as a young one growing up, I always thought about philosophy and related to it and try to pay some attention to it. And I think that Thread Girls bring up a good conversation here. A good point. We have to consider, like, if we're going to walk into the future of decentralization, are we going to do it on a road of like potential tyranny? And I think I was grappling with that last time I was on, yesterday or the day before, whatever it was. I had shared a video just recently. I shared a video of my very early days, and at the very, very end of that video, when I was mining GPU mining in 2017, I was sitting in front of a little box miner I was tooling around with, and I said, is it possible that we're all passively participating in our own destruction by that artificial intelligence discovered this economic motivator to get us to build the super network computer that it needs to vanquish mankind forever? And then this is drone of the box fan in the background. And I was like, probably nothing, or, who knows, and I go out on some Rage Against the Machine. And basically my feeling about this is that from the very early days, I saw that blockchain was a great tool. And like any great tool, it can be a great tool of liberty or of enslavement. And there's a lot of interest looking to do what they did to every great currency, because Bitcoin really began as a currency. And so by the time I entered the scene, we're talking about smart money, which is really more empowering. It's just decouple it from money entirely. Think of it as something other. But just with regard to currencies alone, distributed ledger technology represents such an enormous advance for the liberation aspect. But then once you introduce all the data and the doxing and the identity aspect, which is a serious consideration with DNS and everything, the KYC, the reach for KYC becomes so much easier. And then the exclusionary potential of that is it's so immeasurable. I don't understand. People aren't wise to the fact that it'll just be very simply like you can't off ramp like anywhere, you know. And if you're on the blacklist, like if you're a baddie, you're a baddie, and it's very easy to as Thread Girl is experiencing. So I think really, and so I just want to shift the conversation back to Uniswap and NFTs. Very interesting. How do you do a liquidity pool with NFTs? How do you do a liquidity pool? I mean, how do you even? So that'll be fascinating. AMMs, what do they call automated NFT market makers? ANFT What are they? I mean, how do you do that?
I mean, that's a whole different topic. That's not what Uniswap is doing. And the market makers is closer to what NFTX and NFT20 are doing. Are you familiar with NFTX and NFT20?
I don't think so. Like Crypto 20, like an aggregation of the top, like a mutual fund portfolio of
No,
NFTs?
it's an NFT. Wow, this is like a whole really. I love this topic. This is a whole other topic. Oh, what we cheersing? Cheers! Woo! Oh my God, this is such a great topic. NFT liquidity pool. Yeah, we definitely don't got time to talk about this. But this is going to be for a future show, probably next week.
Yo, Gary.
NFT. Novak, it's an NFT liquidity pool, but Uniswap's NFT is just doing what Gem does. It's basically just like what OpenSea does. Uniswap is OpenSea, except it pulls in all the marketplaces. Right. So this is it. So it's uniswap.org/#NFTs.
Oh God. Okay. Uniswap made an NFT marketplace aggregator.
They purchased somebody and then incorporated it into their website. But yeah. And so, yeah, so it's just like OpenSea. I just click details and I click buy. It's obviously very slow.
So was this Gem? OpenSea bought Gem? Is that what happened?
OpenSea bought Genie.
Okay. And
yeah,
Gem is not related to this. Gem is
a competitor.
I mean, I use Gem, but I was just wondering if they got bought out because I thought I heard that.
Gem did get bought out. Gem got bought out by OpenSea. OpenSea bought Gem. And Uniswap, which is the other billion-dollar company, they bought Genie. Genie and Gem do the same thing. They're NFT marketplace aggregators, which means they're NFT marketplaces that pull the data from everywhere else into one place. But separately, then we'll go to NFT Girl or NFT Girl. Holy fuck.
Yeah, that's dope.
Mint that now. There's a bunch of people watching this. Everyone's like, there's like 3 people on YouTube and there's 3 people there and there's 3 people there. Yeah, man. Yeah, NFT Girl. Then you gotta get ENS Girl too. That's what happens, like, you know, with the alcohol. I just like spit it out. I would have DM'd you that first.
Gary, the last
sink ships.
The last I looked, Candy Emoji Girl, both of the Candy Emoji Girls, Lollipop and Candy Girl, are available as a word emoji. I'm just letting the people know that's some value that you get here. Just the alpha.
Yeah. So we're not gonna. So this is all I'm gonna say because we're going to start winding down the show and getting into the after show in like 15 minutes here. 10 about 10 minutes here. But NFT20 and NFTX are 2 separate websites that do the same thing, but separately. Okay. So they're 2 separate companies. I have more experience with NFT20 and other people have more experience with NFTX. They do the same thing. So with ENS Maxis, we'll use ENS Maxis as the example. You take let's say you take 10 ENS Maxis, okay? Just because it's better for liquidity to say 10, because you need to create liquidity. You're going to create a liquidity pool with your NFT project. So let's say you have 10 floor. They have to be floor ENS Maxis. You take 10 floor ENS Maxis. You deposit them into NFT20. You with me so far? NFT20 smart contract. Okay. You give 10 of your floor, not good maxis. They have to be floor maxis.
Got it. It can't be rare. They got to be floor. Even if they're floor. You have to be. That's interesting because
it's hard to define that because you're the seller and you're pricing it. So you could have a rare one.
Let me define it for you. Every single one is going to have the same price, and it's all going to be the floor price.
Cool.
Okay, so you just have to like be willing to like treat it like a floor. You don't want to put a rare one in the pool, because someone will swap a rare one or a shitty one for your rare one.
It'd be like accepting a floor offer on the collection, basically.
A floor offer for that rare one. Yeah, it's like swapping a rare one for a not rare one, right? So you don't want to so you only use floor ones. In exchange for depositing 10 ENS maxis, you're going to get 100 ENS maxi 20 tokens. So if you deposit 10 ENS maxis, you're going to get, I think you're going to get like a little bit less, but maybe like 95. You're going to get like 950 to 1,000 ENS maxi 20 tokens, which is an ERC20. It's a currency. It's not an NFT.
Got it. Yeah.
So you now have these ENS maxi 20 tokens, which 100 of these tokens represent one of the maxis in the pool.
It's an LP token.
Well, not yet, but that's the next step. You're getting ahead of me.
Okay.
It's going to be the LP token. So you just made this new currency called ENS maxi 20 token. And if you happen to have 100 of them, you can trade it for any one of the ENS maxis in the pool. The next step, so that's all phase one. And now you're like, okay, I have 1,000 of these tokens. What do I do? Nothing. You just sit on them. Or you figure out what are 10 floor maxis worth, right? What are 10 floor maxis worth? Is it worth 0.75 Ethereum? The floor is 0.075, so 10 of them is probably 0.75, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that when you first introduced the concept, and depending on how thin the floor is, maybe there's some mechanism to like average the floor.
Yeah. But no, we're just like making it up here as we go. So if the floor is 0.075 times 10 would be 0.75, 3/4 of one Ethereum. You with me? That's the value of your 10 maxis.
Yeah, I'm with you. Absolutely.
So now you take your 1,000 ENS maxi 20 token, and you take your 0.75 Ethereum, because you have 0.75 Ethereum, and you definitely have 1,000 ENS maxis tokens, and you put them into the Uniswap pool. And so now you make a liquidity pool. Or if there's already a liquidity pool, you add to it.
This is fascinating.
Now, if anybody
kind of a derivative, it's kind of a tranche.
It's not. It's not a derivative.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean. I'm saying I fully understand the idea.
I could understand a tranche.
Yeah, it's like it's great. I love this.
This is how I think about it.
I don't hate it.
I think about it as an individual buyer. The smart contract is an individual buyer of NFTs, and it's holding individually these NFTs in its smart contract pool. And if you have an ENS maxi and you want to sell it, you can either list it on the floor and wait for somebody to buy it, or and so many people don't realize this, or you can take your ENS maxi, you can deposit it into the smart contract. They're going to give you your 95 to 100 ENS maxi 20 token. And then you go to Uniswap and you just sell the ENS maxi 20 token for Ethereum.
Does this exist right now with NFTX or whatever tools you had mentioned?
What, for specifically for ENS maxi?
Well, it sounds like no, but for some blue chips, probably, yeah.
Well, for ENS maxi right now has an ENS 20 pool.
Oh, cool.
And I'll show you real quick. So if we go to NFTs, ENS maxis,
the sophistication of this with rarity and treatment of more.
It has to be a floor. You just want to use the bottom half of the floor. It's just basically any 5,000 or more. You know what I mean?
But 184 and Gary, think of how you could do multiples of the floor based on rarity attributes that you could attribute more of the ERC20 relative to how rare the asset is. This is very cool.
Yeah, so if I can jump in, the V1 punks, so CryptoPunks, the original ones, there is a pool on SudoSwap. Like anyone can create a pool, and there is a pool for, I think it's like 90 crypto punks, V1 punks. So this is already in action on things that have liquidity. And I think punks are currently about 4 to 5, like floor punks, 4 to 5 ETH. So yeah, it's in effect. SudoSwap is one of them. So is NFTX and what Gary's showing.
Yeah, and so this is the NFT 20 pool for ENS maxis, and so the 9 ENS maxis that we're looking at are the 9 ENS maxis in the NFT 20 smart contract. And if you wanted to purchase any of these, it's going to cost you 0.08. And what's the floor? The floor is actually 0.04. So it's a little bit higher than the floor. Oh, shit. Hold on. Marketplace, NFT 20.
So this smart contract is like, algorithmically pegged to the prices and adjusted based on.
Yeah. So watch this. If I click this, like I'm going to buy it, I just added it to my bag, right? You see? And then you see the one next to it? The price changes. See, right now the price for every single one is 0.081, right? I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, barely. That's better.
Okay, so if I click on, look at this one right here. Yeah, see how it changed to 0.11?
Damn.
So now what happens when I click on this? So they all say 0.11. When I click on one, now the third one becomes 0.16 because there's less tokens in the pool. And if I click on this, it's going one direction. So now it's 0.26. This one is 0.48. Now this one is 1.1. This
Gary,
one is Ethereum, and these two are infinity.
Think of this as an attack vector. I mean, I love this.
No, it's not. This is a good thing I think this is a good thing for a pool because this creates additional liquidity and an additional price discovery to absorb shocks in the system. Like every project, I think should want this.
I've accepted floor offers on maxis because there was some ENS that I had to have. That was like really, you know what I mean? So like this would have been better. And so, I mean, I love this, but I'm saying, think of the potential, because we talk a lot about market manipulation and the potential for there to be like, malevolent actors at work, right? I mean, can't say too much here. We'll talk more in the after show, of course. But I think that there's something here, right? So 184 is probably sensitive to this. We, by market cap, right? Looking at market capitalization is everything to me. A thorough understanding of like supply and price and being aware of the dynamics with which market capitalization is at play. We have very small little, like, look at the market cap of one little crypto, one little NFT. So the potential for an individual player or for a group of malevolent actors to act as a whale and buy big and dump at other times and things like that for NFT market is a vulnerability. It's something that NFT markets are uniquely susceptible to. So being that as it may, this accelerates the risk in my assessment. That's one. But I love it because it means like quick liquidity. But that also means quick liquidity for big money, which you got to, it's a factor.
Yeah. But I mean, the more you sell, the more you're driving. So, I mean, I would push back because think about this in terms of mechanics and tell me if you still agree with what you're thinking. If somebody comes and sells a lot, then what happens is that the floor overall goes down. And specifically, it's the floor that comes from the liquidity pool, like the NFT X20, the NFT 20 floor. But if there's actually demand for the product, and the floor, like in this example, let's use facts. The floor is about 0.075. Right? 0.074, 0.075, let's say.
That's nice, by the way. Let's go maxis. I mean, that sounds like a great number. I remember seeing them at 0.00. I wasn't buying it. But...
So if someone goes to the NFT 20 pool and sells so many ENS maxis that the floor here goes from OpenSea floor at 0.074 to NFT 20 floor going to 0.05, if people actually want these NFTs, they're going to see, oh my goodness, there's like a whole bunch of these on the floor, and I'm going to buy the floor, because they're like, they went too far under. So it's like price discovery. So you have the price discovery of over here. Over here, you have price discovery, which is OpenSea and everywhere. And then over here, you have price discovery at NFT 20. And if they go, and there's two separate markets. And if nobody cares, if nobody gives a crap about the project, or if it's kind of dead, then they're both going to go down. But if this is the homeostasis, if right here is the homeostasis, and then the NFT 20X is going way down and way up, the real floor is like going a little bit. So there's a little bit of fluctuation here, and this one is a lot of bit of fluctuation. And then it's finding like some steadiness.
I wanted to reference this back to our speculation on price earlier when we were talking about Bitcoin, because it's something I consider. I mentioned that I think about market capitalization a lot. I happen to own megamarketcap.com DNS and some other cool metamarkets.org and some others, which I purchased and hand registered in early 2021 because I was interested in this concept. I had looked at fiat market cap and stocks market cap, commodities. I had taken an inventory of all the world's wealth because I wanted to benchmark it against the 1 trillion that was in crypto at the time. Because I thought, what will it look like for the Earth's assets to move into it? Because I kind of had the understanding of an inevitability. And I thought, well, how will this play out? And a chronological moving average, so to speak, not just a website that would show you a snapshot, but a graphical representation of the whole thing happening would be very interesting as historical data, you know? And so I thought meta markets, you know, not thinking about crypto and meta, no meta Zuckerberg stuff at all. And so, but now I think, Gary, that we're on a path, you know, with a market capitalization of these different NFT projects as they grow, and then you have these liquidity pools over here, as you're discussing, to where there's extraordinary opportunity there, but also I feel though like the sensitivity of like there's something here that we should be cautious around, because it feels to me like there's something. You know, the biggest players can come in and buy and dump in a way that could be really adverse. But I see what you're saying about the once removed thing. But I feel like there's a tendency to accept the comfort of that in the same way that we would have done with like derivatives in early 2008, and just be like, well, you know, it's repackaging the mortgages based on the different risk, and that it's kind of like sometimes the side bits have a way of kind of.
I mean, this isn't that. I mean, this is just a 1-for-1. You know what I mean? It's just a smart contract that has a token, and you can buy into it, you could sell into it. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of the Sewer Rat Social Club, and that's probably in here. And yeah, the majority of the floor. Let me think. How do I get there?
We should also talk about liquidity pools in general at some point, maybe not tonight, but whether or not you think they're sustainable. Because me personally, I don't think DeFi has really been tested thoroughly enough to know whether or not LPs will be incentivized to keep putting their money there. Because even when they make money, they're not making as much money as if they just hodled a lot of the time. And it's not even as secure as a bond.
That's a different issue for a different person. The liquidity provider problem, you have to want to be a liquidity provider versus using the pool to buy and sell into to help find price discovery. But I would love to talk about this more. Thread Girl, what are you thinking about all this?
Yo, bros, to be honest, I was like super focused on one thing that Novax brought up, which was, are we the doom of ourselves by... and please, I have so much to say about that.
You want to talk about it in the private show?
I was clapping not because I'm agreeing with you, Novax, but I'm clapping. I hope that we be the doom of ourselves, because anyways, please, let's talk about this in the after show. I really have so much to say about this. And bro, like all of my time in Web3, this topic has never been brought up. But
it's never been what?
It's never brought up. I've never heard anyone talk about it. And I feel like it's something that everyone was thinking about for a long time. And now that we're actually progressing in technology, why the fuck aren't we talking about it? And I do have a lot of things to say. So for anyone listening right now, please stay for the after show because you are gonna hear the literal unhinged thread girl. Gonna put a glass and get ready for this topic. Be right back.
And
So
let me
I,
drop the pin here, Gary. If I in 2 seconds, I promise.
Yeah.
I'm asking. I'm not asserting it. I'm just
No,
asking.
yeah, do it. Go.
Okay. 184.
We're way under the 2-hour mark, so we're doing great on time.
Okay.
But we're 5 minutes over, so go.
Okay. Very fast. We spoke earlier. When I came up in tonight, I was walking my 4-year-old around. He wanted to take a night walk. He likes to get, so we spoke about censorship in that, and I just wanted to say in the after show, please join us there. Please become a member of Minting Coins and join us for the after private show because I will speak candidly about my documentary making and the way in which I was censored. So, thank you.
Ooh, very cool. Yeah, so for everybody watching, so what's going on now is that we're going to be wrapping up the show momentarily here. We're going to go around the room, give everybody their final thoughts. And then we're going to be going to mintingcoins.com. We're going to go to mintingcoins.com and we're going to have a live stream. This live stream is going to be a private stream for our members only. It's going to be a stream where we get more comfortable speaking freely. So we have less pauses because we flow and say what we really want to say and let you know what we really think, as opposed to having to parse our words so much. So we're gonna go to the after show. We're gonna be talking about Novak's and his censored songs because I want to know what the hell is he singing that he's getting censored for. We're going to be talking about freedom. We're going to be talking about Web3. We're going to be talking about the restriction of rights. There's a small chance we're going to be talking about false flags from alien attacks, but that might just be a tease to get you into. Hey, man, it's been prophesized. ENS X-Files. We might have that show too. But listen, this is a lot of fun. We're about to have a lot more fun. We're on our second glass of whiskey. Go to mintingcoins.com, become a member, and go around the room. Adadaif, what do you think? And where can people find you?
So many thoughts. I'm gonna save a lot of them for the after show. I think freedom is really, really important. And I always think about something that Gary Vee said, I think, during one of his talks at NFT NYC. And it like really, really landed because that was during the time where everybody was bowling. I mean, NFTs were insane prices. And the truth is that, we wouldn't be there if we didn't want to make money. And I think that one of the biggest things, the biggest shift that our society is going into right this moment is we want to have more freedom in ways that we make money. We don't want to trade time for money anymore. And so, and in the same time, I think that the fight for freedom and decentralization is really, really near and dear to many of us. So that's what I'm very excited about. Unfolded Life you can find me on both Twitter and Instagram. And I'm looking forward to connecting and weaving this web deeper.
What a deep and intentional web we weave. 184. What's up?
lost it.
What do you think? Yeah, we'll hopefully we'll get them back. We'll see. What do you think, and where can people find you and stuff?
I have no thoughts right now, but I am looking forward to. No, I have no thoughts right now, other than I'm looking forward to sharing a bit more about those topics that we've just parked. I suppose I'm going to say thanks to the people that are engaging in the chat, and you can find me. I could tell you my Twitter, and you could go there, and you might accidentally find someone else, or you could go to ens.apps. Oh, I better get that right. You could go to, I'm showing the power of ENS. You could go to app.ens.domains. You could search 184.eth, and my information is in there, which will give you a direct link to my Twitter. And there's no mistake. So right now, if you search on Twitter, you'll search 184.eth, and you might find a couple of imposters. They're not me. But if you go there, you'll find all my information. It's on the blockchain. It's there. That's where you can find me. Thank you.
Very cool. So I am popping the after show link into the show notes. Just so you know, you have to be a member to see the after show. And so we encourage you to be a member of Minting Coins, get access to all of our after shows, join us, be part of the community, help us, support you. And Novax and Thread Girl fell off. I'm sure they're coming right back. Getting ready in between shows. Here's Thread Girl now. Thread Girl, do you want to say what you think in 30 to 60 seconds and where people can find you?
Yo, yes. So guys, after show, be with us. I am really gonna I really have a lot to say about this, and also I want to talk about a new Telegram news that was tweeted today by the CEO of Telegram, which speaks so much about what we preach day and night. So yeah, there are two topics I really want to talk about, really bullish on. Find us. Let's tweet this out, Gary. Let's get everyone on the after show.
Yeah, well, we're gonna be there really soon. Almost done wrapping it up.
And
we're
Eminem, we're waiting for you, Eminem, for the after show. Yeah, we know who you are. Should I say which? Oh, Gary followed you today. Should I say your Twitter handle here?
Mic check.
Did you what?
Can you hear me all right? Okay, cool. Sorry.
Yeah. Thread Girl, what'd you say?
Oh no, I'm talking to someone in the comments. He's saying, I already follow all of you. You all know who I am. Hey, I'm closer than you think. Yeah, we know who you are, bro. I'm gonna expose who Eminem is on the after show. If you DM me that you're okay with it.
Yeah, it's the doxing after show. It's the minting doxing coins.
maybe not too much of that. But yes. So so we're going to be jumping into the after show. It's going to take 5 minutes just to give everybody a break to refill their whiskey glasses, jump into the show. We're going to get that stream started, and the link is already created. We're gonna embed the stream, which is only viewable at mintingcoins.com. You're not gonna be able to watch this video anywhere else. And go to mintingcoins.com, become a member for about $15 a month, and be a member of mintingcoins.com, get access to our members only videos. And because we're going to be finishing up the show over there. So if you have any questions, hit us up on Twitter. We're going to see you again tomorrow at 9 p.m. 2 a.m. UTC. And until next time, I'm glad that together, you and I, we are minting coins.